Welcome back to Mobile Mornings on FM Talk 106.5. Dalton Orwig here, and a pleasure to be again joined by Desi Tobias with the local law firm Tobias, McCormick, and Comer. If you're a listener to Mobile Mornings or really FM Talk 106.5, you hear Kane and his traffic updates every 15 minutes, and every now and then you'll hear a hit and run or something similar to that. I've always wondered, Desi, if you've been in an accident and the other person flees the scene, or even if they stay there and they're not insured, how exactly does all of that work out? And uninsured motorist coverage explains some of that.
Yeah, uninsured motorist coverage is something that's required by a statute in Alabama. Every policy of automobile liability insurance that's issued in the state is required to have it. And what's very important is it's required to have it per what the law says. They can't exclude it away. You often see about the EMU and Liberty Mutual and about buy what you need, only buy what you need. This is something that the law says that you have to provide to them. And what it does is it gives you, if you're injured in any way by a vehicle, it gives you coverage in addition to what they may have.
Okay.
And that could include somebody who, for instance, you don't even know who they are, a hit and run. You are injured in that instance by a motor vehicle, and you are given whatever coverage you purchased for the injuries that you sustained. The other side may only have $25,000 worth of coverage, which is the minimum liability limits in Alabama. So that gives you excess coverage beyond what that other person has. It's underinsured motorist coverage as well, and it's a very important coverage.
Yeah.
I often find that insurance companies don't try to push it, but it has to be in every policy of liability coverage issued to automobiles unless it's explicitly rejected in writing.
So someone could go in, and I always feel, when I'm purchasing insurance, like I'm almost playing a game of blackjack sometimes. I'm like, I don't know, do I need this? Do I need that? Do I hit on 20 or do I stay? And this is something that honestly I would never think about. How important that would be if something like that were to happen. It also applies, I guess, to even if you're not in your vehicle but you have the coverage and something happens to you.
That's right. Yes, that's right. It applies if you're on a bicycle, a pedestrian, you're walking down the street, as long as it's in connection with a underinsured or uninsured automobile, it does apply.
Well, I know at Tobias, McCormick, and Comer, you guys have plenty of experience, a lot of experience, and you've worked all kinds of different cases. And I'm sure you've worked a number of cases that involve something similar to this, uninsured motorist coverage. Any stories or cases you have to tell us about that kind of put this in a real light, like how this could actually happen?
Yeah, there's one, and I may have mentioned this before. I like to tell this one because it's a very memorable case, but it also really shows you how important this coverage is. But it was a case we tried in Baldwin County in 2018. It involved someone driving home at night. He was driving a cylinder truck on I-10, and there was a phantom vehicle. There were two that were racing, and they forced him off the road, and he went off and went over the other side. There was no trace of his truck.
Wow.
And we never knew who those other vehicles were or why. He was ejected from his vehicle. It was a very violent scene. His clothing somehow was found in a tree.
Wow.
His shirt. So it just it shows you how violent accidents can be, what can happen when you don't even know. But he had two policies of auto insurance that provided the one he was in, his employer's policy, and his own policy, which provided underinsured and uninsured motorist coverage for this phantom vehicle that we never knew where it was. And ultimately we prevailed, and he did recover. But without that coverage, he would have been totally out of luck. You never know what you're going to encounter on those highways. You just never know, and it always happens. Somebody can cross the center line when you least expect it, you or a loved one, and you are protecting them and buying that coverage to provide what it is that you want. Well, how much do you want? I would get as much as you possibly could. And there's something that's interesting about it, how good the law is in Alabama. Other states don't follow or they allow the insurance companies to basically exclude it away. But in Alabama, if you have a contract of insurance and you buy uninsured motorist coverage and you have, say, 3 vehicles on that policy, it stacks. So you triple the coverage. And I find other states where there'll be a policy from there, but somebody's injured in Alabama. I'll look at it and say, we don't have the law we have here, and there's really not much I can do for you. But also, often people will come in and have a terrible accident, and we look at the coverage that they do have, and it's either not enough or sometimes it's even rejected. So it's very important coverage to have to protect you.
Yeah, it truly sounds like it. And I try to remind myself that every day, that when you're out on the road, you never know what can or will happen. And I'm going to teach my daughters that too once they start driving. But what you're showing now, talking to me, is a deep knowledge of a topic that I don't think a lot of people are well studied on. And with Tobias, McCormick, and Comer, I mean, you've worked cases all over the map regarding different things, but you study and you know exactly what to expect and what certain laws limit or allow. And I've seen that from all the different cases you've told me about. At Tobias, McCormick, and Comer, you really delve in and learn as much as you can about the topic for your clients.
Yeah, that's true. And I've been very interested in all the various areas that we cover. We do products liability, maritime work. But uninsured motorist law has interested me. 25 years ago, I was a defense lawyer and did it. I've been on the plaintiff side, the injured person side now. I've written papers on it. I've given seminars. There are papers on the topic if you go to my website. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting how people are interested in that. I had a conversation yesterday from a lawyer in Michigan asking me, and that's his second time to call, and I worked him through some issues with what happened down here to somebody he knew. Somebody from Alabama had been injured here, but he knew the family, and he was trying to help them. So we do look at things closely. We do a deep dive into the various topics, the facts, the law, to help our clients. And uninsured motorist law is something that my knowledge and what we do with that has been really beneficial through the years.
And another thing you do is answer the phone. And Tobias, McCormick, and Comer, if someone has something that happened to them that's similar to this or one of the many other areas that you cover there, they can call and get a consultation.
Exactly. They can always call us. I'm interested particularly in this topic as well as any others, but if there's a question about uninsured motorist law, how it may apply, to make sure you get the full benefits of the coverage and what the law provides that coverage must have, please call us. We're happy to talk.
And that number again, do you know the number?
It's 251-432-5001.
And I've got to say, I saw the new video out with you and Brian Comer talking about this exact thing. A great YouTube page from Tobias, McCormick, and Comer. But you can also get a lot of this information online on the website.
That's right.
TMClawyers.com?
Yes, TMClawyers.com.
Very cool. Well, Desi, really appreciate you coming in with us today. I learned something new every single time you come in or Brian comes in, and glad to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you so much, Dalton. Good to see you again.
All right, Desi Tobias with Tobias, McCormick, and Comer. And that does it for Mobile Mornings. Coming up next, the Jeff Poor Show right here on FM Talk 106.5.